Craving Chinese takeout? Don't you dare hit that Uber button. I'm gonna show you how to make fresh, homemade orange chicken from scratch using fresh ingredients. It's going to be so delicious. Grab your ingredients, let's get to cooking. Hey everyone, so to get started on our orange chicken, we need to go ahead and heat up our pan. Now this is a 12-inch deep frying pan. As you can see, it's been used and is very well loved, but if you have a wok, even better, but if not, a pan like this will do. So we want to go ahead and heat that onto medium heat. Now we're going to begin prepping our garlic. So for this dish, we'll need about 5 pretty good sized cloves of garlic. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the garlic, we're going to give it a whack, makes it easier to peel. And the skins come off just like that. Right, so we got to our last garlic clove here. Just peeling that off. Now what we're gonna do is we're going to chop the garlic. So it's very important as you slice your garlic, which is really more of what we're going to do, rather not mince or anything. We're gonna slice, make thin little slices. But in Asian cooking, it's very important to have all your ingredients prepped because the cooking process is going to go by really, really fast. So we have to make sure that all of our ingredients are ready to go by the time that we begin to throw them in the pan, because they're not going to hang out too long. Okay, and then you run your knife through just like that for thin slices. And then the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to peel our ginger. Now this is a ginger root. This is what fresh ginger looks like. And there's a couple different ways that you could attack this if you like. You know, you can peel your ginger by using a spoon. And see the skin there's coming right off. And that's exactly what you want. We don't want that skin in there. We want the root part, which is right here underneath. And it has a very clean, fresh scent. For those of you who have never really experienced fresh ginger, the ginger that they have in sushi shops is usually pickled ginger. It smells pretty similar, but not quite the same. Now the other way that you can do this is you can take your knife and you can run it along the side like that and peel off the skins if you're not as comfortable using a spoon. And then traditionally, in order to add the spice to this dish, you would use bird's eye chilies, which is a fresh red chili. They're very hard to find in the grocery stores. So if you find the dried red chilies, perfectly okay. What we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of just give these a little bit of a split. And then we'll toss them in whenever we make our sauce. And then in our sauce, we're gonna wanna have some fresh orange zest. You can use just a vegetable peeler just to grit at the zest. We don't want any of the white stuff. We don't want any pit. Whether you have strips or just little pieces like I cut off there, either way it's fine. Probably the little pieces are probably going to be easier, especially because once you put these in the sauce, they'll cook down and become edible. And they contain a lot of oils. And those oils is what's going to help lend that orange flavor to our sauce. So see that right there? That's the whites. That's not what we want. What we want is just purely the zest. Only the orange. See? No white. And if you don't happen to have a vegetable peeler, totally okay. You can do this with your knife. You'll just run your knife right along the edge. And just be careful not to get any white. That one I kind of got a little bit more than I should have, but you'll just run your knife along, make very thin slices. Just like that. So once you get done zesting your orange, what we're gonna do is we're going to need to juice 3 full oranges. So the best way to get maximum juice out of any of your citrus, whether it's lemon, lime, or orange, is you wanna roll it. Just like that, putting a decent amount of pressure on the palm of your hand, and then when you go to juice it, you'll get maximum juice. gonna want about a cup. So over here in our pan that's already been preheated, nice and hot, I'm gonna go ahead and add about 1/3 of a cup of canola oil. And you can add any good high smoke point oil if you like. So I'm gonna go ahead and add in the garlic now. We're gonna cook it for about 30 seconds. Okay, and I'm gonna grate in now about 1/4 tablespoon of fresh ginger. Now ginger has a lot of benefits. It's a good anti-inflammatory and overall just has a lot of really good health benefits to add into your cooking or to eat it raw. It even helps with nausea. We're gonna add in 3 tablespoons of rice wine vinegar and 3 tablespoons of low sodium soy sauce. Add in your chilies and your orange peel. Go ahead and reduce your heat down to low and let this simmer and kind of cook away. And while we do that, as we brought the temperature down to low, we can go ahead and add in about 1/4 cup of brown sugar and our freshly squeezed orange juice. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna let this kind of hang out on low over here and get to infuse all the flavors. Coming up, I'll show you how to thicken the sauce with a cornstarch slurry, and we're gonna go ahead and prepare our chicken for the little chicken pieces that are gonna go in our sauce. So now we need to begin prepping the batter for our chicken. So in this bowl, I just have 3 cups of all-purpose flour. And to that, we're gonna add 1 cup of cornstarch. And then we're going to add in some salt, freshly cracked salt to taste. And this is just to really season the flour or the batter that we're making to coat our chicken before we fry it. Add some freshly cracked black pepper. And if you don't have freshly cracked, that's fine too. Use whatever you have on hand. I just prefer the taste of freshly cracked. But again, the regular table salt and pepper that you have, if that's what you use, that's fine too. And then to this, we're gonna add some paprika, just to taste. This is gonna lend just a little bit of a smokiness to the batter. Okay, and then we're gonna give this a little mix. And then our leavening agent is going to be 1 egg, which we'll add here in just a moment. We want to well incorporate all the seasonings into our flour. We want a nice seasoned coat on the chicken. Here we go, 1 egg. Go ahead and give this a mix. And we're also gonna go ahead and slowly add in 1½ cups of water. Add a little bit more water as needed to thin it out. I went ahead and added about an additional 1/4 to 1/2 cup, but this is the consistency that you're looking for. Just a good, solid, thick batter to cover our chicken. Now I'm gonna go ahead and start cutting our chicken, and I'm using boneless, skinless chicken breasts. Now, you can use whatever you want. Chicken thighs happen to be super inexpensive. You can use that if you like, but I do prefer the white meat. So I am going to be using just a boneless, skinless chicken breast. These are 2 breasts. This is probably about 1 pound total of chicken meat, maybe a little more. And I'm just going to run my knife through and cube up the meat into about 1-inch cubes. Big enough in order to be able to get a really nice good bite whenever you're frying up your chicken and then when you go to eat it. About like that. That's what you should aim for. Okay, now that the chicken is all cut, we're gonna go ahead and drop it into our batter. And stir it around, make sure it's nice and evenly coated. So I have my frying oil in this pan here already preheated to 350 degrees, so it's ready to fry. And we're going to fry in batches, dropping it in piece by piece. If you don't do it piece by piece, you could end up with a real big chickeny clump, and that's no good. Just like that, I'm going to fry in small batches. We're going to fry these up for about 5 to 7 minutes. So this right here is a fry spider. It's really good to like pick things up out of a deep fry situation, and good to kind of like toss things around as you're frying them. So that's what I'm doing here, just kind of giving these a light toss around in the oil as they fry to make sure it's going to be nice and evenly fried on all sides. Okay. And this is about the color that you want on your chicken. Pull them out, lay them on a wire rack. That way they can drain off all the excess fry oil. So I'm going to show you, as you pull your chicken out of the fryer, always pull them out when they're a little bit on the lighter side. Because what's going to happen is if you notice the difference, these are the ones we pulled out a moment ago. These are the ones we just pulled out of the fryer. These are a little bit lighter in color than these. They are going to turn about 1 to a half shade darker when you pull them out of the fryer. So while the chicken hangs out and drains, it took us about 3 batches to go ahead and fry up all that chicken. We're now going to go ahead and focus on thickening up our sauce. So our sauce has been over here hanging out on low for about the entire duration it took us to prep, batter, and fry up our chicken. So we've had all those lovely orange flavors concentrating in there with the garlic, with the ginger, and with the red pepper. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make our slurry to thicken up our sauce. So in order to make our slurry, I have 3 tablespoons of cornstarch, and then put equal parts, so 3 tablespoons of water into this little bowl, and we're going to give it a little stir. It may be kind of hard to stir at first, but keep stirring. Eventually it will come to a liquid consistency as the cornstarch melts into the water. See, just like that, already starting to come together. Okay, so this is the consistency that you want right there. Almost kind of looks like milk. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go ahead and start to pour this into our sauce, and the heat is going to activate it and thicken up our sauce. And it's going to happen fairly quickly. Go ahead and add our chicken into the sauce. And if you find that your sauce got a little too thick, you could add a little less cornstarch slurry, or if you've already added your cornstarch slurry into the pan, you can go ahead and thin it out with just a little bit of water or extra orange juice. So we're going to give this a toss. And then to serve, we're just going to pour over some white rice. Look at that beautiful orangey sauce. Get all the extra bit of sauce out of the pan. Okay. And then to finish up, take a little bit of sesame oil. Now this toasted sesame oil just gives a little bit of nuttiness to the dish, and also adds a little bit more of a gloss factor. Just a few drizzles, doesn't have to be much. Okay, sprinkle some toasted sesame seeds. And you can finish off with some freshly chopped green onion or chives. And now let's give it a taste. So orangey. Chicken is perfectly cooked. Has a hint of spiciness that comes from the peppers, You can tell the fresh zing of the ginger and the great sweetness of the garlic. It's perfect. There you have it. Fresh, homemade orange chicken that lets you skip that takeout line and make it fresh, all right in your kitchen with great ingredients. If you happen to like this video, give me a like, make sure to comment and take any pictures of any recipes that it is that mine that you happen to make. I'd love to hear how it turned out for you. Make sure to subscribe to my channel, and until next time, have a good one.